Well, hello everybody. Good afternoon. I hope you all are enjoying the semi-warmish weather we're having before it gets too cold. My name is Danny Vasquez. I am currently the Indigenous Initiatives Coordinator for Open Air. It's actually my last kind of hoorah as the Indigenous Initiatives Coordinator. But really excited to introduce you all to our speaker today. First, just want to welcome everybody to the Indigenous Art, Indigenous Minds speaker series. Today, our presenter is Julianne Denny, a Cree Ojibway and Miqmaq multidisciplinary artist, raising a family in Rocky Boy, Montana. And I actually know Jules as a birth worker. We took a birth worker training together a few years ago, and I think just our relationship has just evolved, and I consider Jules a really good friend today. And I am, just so excited to, be able to give her a platform to share her gifts with us. So I'm going to hand it over to Jules. And if there's any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to just put them in the chat and we'll answer them as we go. Thank you, everybody. And welcome, Jules.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to, let's see if I can share my little slideshow I got going on. So the slideshow is just pretty much for guidance purposes. We're not going to totally stick to it because that's kind of not how I roll, but let's see if I can get presenter view. I don't want to talk too much about let's see, how's that looking, you guys? Hold on. Is that good? Let's see if my controls work. Okay, so this is just a really brief like overview of my work. It doesn't include everything, so that's why I have like the Instagram. I'm gonna kind of go to my Instagram too because it talks more about my Morningstar works, like more of my digital art. So as Danny was saying, so I come from Member 2 First Nation as well as Cowsas First Nation in Canada, and I'm currently raising my family here in Rocky Boy in Montana. And throughout my life, I could say that I started doing art by drawing anime. I don't know if anybody has like that history as well, but I started drawing characters and fairies and things when I was very, very young, and my cousins were the ones who taught me. And then also in high school, I had a really good art teacher named Drew Hunter who was very enthusiastic about developing my painting and drawing skills. And we found out that I do love painting, but my favorite was drawing. My favorite medium was drawing. So I also, just a little bit of academic background. I'm kind of all over the place. I am in my 4th year of my fine arts degree in Canada. However, I had to put a pause to that because I had my son Theron in my last year. So I just got to do a graduate show and I should be cool. But also throughout those years and forward, I had the experience of working with a lot of amazing people, including one of my mentors, Lena Manifi, at Sageway Walk Artist Collective. There's also Ernie Scholes at Scholes Fine Arts and Framing. And a lot of my background in development business-wise came from them. And they just really helped me grow as a young artist and a young mom. And so Also, I completed a carpentry certification in Spirit Lake Reservation in North Dakota, which also I used my carpentry skills to create woodwork that was artwork essentially. And we'll see how great my computer works. I'll try and show you guys some of that art on my Instagram. And then I also graduated with my degree in fine arts from that college as well, and received a few awards, and also participated and curated a project to paint numerous murals in their Head Start building over there, and also commemorating some pretty prominent community leaders. So my knowledge base is a mixture of lots of things. So I am considered multidisciplinary, and the mediums that I have experience working in is painting, drawing, illustration, performance art, singing, fan work or feather work, stone carving, and sewing. I have sold and displayed my work internationally and throughout my emerging artist career, and I had numerous shows kind of throughout the country, like in the US and in Canada, and I have a lot of installations across Canada as well. So my main influences for my work that I need to consider, and it's kind of just, oh no, I thought, oh, hold on. I thought I was plugged in. Hold on a second. Let me grab a thing. My laptop's going to turn off. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Where were we? Okay, so I just wanted to mention the people that I've worked with or who have influenced my work. And there's the Indian Group of Seven based out of Canada. They're a historical group that covered numerous tribal affiliated art forms throughout Canada. There's also Lena Manifi, Michelle Serrata, Lacey Desjardins Morin, David Garneau, Lori Blondo, Lionel Payachu, Lyndon Tatusis, Keith Bird, Ernie Scholes, and numerous elders and colleagues. So the work, I'm just going to show you part of the collection, or show you the collection which the piece in the art show, the traveling art show, is from. And so I created this for my my graduation show from Chandeska Chicana Community College. And so this is kind of like my overview. I wanted to expand on female mental health and the actual value of femininity and beauty in our Indigenous roots, not only for the sake of our life giver abilities, but also the ability to connect to Mother Earth or Uskie or Nigawi Uskie. The idea of femininity is often appropriated in colonial standards, and these connections can sometimes jeopardize when we experience tough situations. And through this test of faith, the connection through prayer often becomes stronger when we reach a level of success within our own earthly blessings that we remain resilient through. Trauma cannot define us, but it is something we survive and prosper from. This earth, as our mother, gives us the ability to see through our hardships, such as grieving a loved one, mental illness, physical illness, disabilities, trauma, and misogyny. All these negative occurrences equate to a level of heartbreak, and I wanted to create work that visualizes women doing spiritual acts of prayer and incorporating nature natural imagery, acknowledging our contemporary lives and our ancestors who have previously prayed for us as their future. Indigenous females often struggle with multiple insecurities after experiencing certain hardships and are often misled by the industries to seek things that are not nurturing to the soul, but rather superficial. It ends up that the way that they appear to the world matters more than how they exist in the world. And sometimes it becomes a matter of coping in situations rather than doing inner work. And learning how to pray can bring the female's mind back to empowered positivity. Also, the manner in which females may wish to be people-pleasing leads them to a cycle of one-way or toxic relationships that can't be fulfilled. Social acceptance is a plague, and however, today prayer and meditation seems to be a lasting practice from historical times to reaching enlightenment in tough times such as this. Women are resilient, and we are doing it independently, where the work we put into ourselves pays off not only for ourselves, but for our families as well in the long run. It is an epidemic that Indigenous women battle every day to find oneself to make the world a better place for Indigenous families. The work is finally occurring to reverse the personal and social economic issues for Indigenous people as a whole. I believe women today are doing this hard work for the betterment of their communities, and it is complex. But if it does not start with us, then when would it occur? The future of our nations lies in our children. Our healing occurs amongst the women, and the men shall learn to protect us and, well, rather than learn, reclaim to protect us, and all while we take a stance against our colonial narrative, all in the name of creator and future prosperity. So here's one part of the collection. It's called Our Guide, Our Nagumi. And Nagumi is the Miqmaq word for grandmother. And it historically, Miqmaq women wore peak hats that are considered holy, and that male counterparts were never allowed to touch them. As Indigenous women, we are forever connected to the earth and universe simultaneously, and we wear traditional outfits like peaked hats, ribbons, skirts, and beaded jewelry as an expression of who we are, both physically and spiritually. Together, it acts as a protection for us. The symbol on the bottom corner is the Miqmaq petroglyph, meaning holy. Do you have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? Okay. This is the piece. It looks a little different because I did change it from when I posted or made this slideshow. It's called Our Future Fancy Shawl Dancer. And in contemporary times, I believe it's important to look at ceremony to reclaim our identities. Power for our younger generations is an uplifting, energetic, and colorful process. I feel like sacredness of representing our individual spirits in this ceremony is critical for self-resilience and exploration. Power, like other ceremonies, also nurtures the imagination and healing of survivors of trauma. This work is multifaceted in symbolism, and it also has beaded rosettes for the earrings, and I think in the new version there's also berries that I beaded. I just didn't add that in yet. And there's also brass studs, and the roses on her shawl are representing the grandmother spirits and femininity. The other thing I want to touch on too is that in powwow, in contemporary practices, a lot of families are taught that you dance your own style, so it helps nurture your self-expression. And I did dance old style fancy at one point, and And it did help me heal through some really heavy stuff I experienced in my 20s. And I never danced for competition, although it's a highly competitive sport. Well, people treat it somewhat like a sport these days, but there is a highly ceremonial aspect to it that is always practiced at every powwow, I think. So I heard something in the chat. Was there a question?
There's a question here from Kay. Are the beads attached to the painting? It would be so cool to see this in person. Where is your work available to see?
Yes, I just had apple in my mouth, so I couldn't get to it fast enough. Thank you for reading the question. So I just wanted to make sure that I understood it correctly, that you have attached the beads to this acrylic painting. Is that true?
Yeah, so I beaded the berries separately on some interfacing, and then I applied them to the berries that were painted on. So I kind of like made another layer to the painting.
Awesome. And I saw just above my note here that your work is on the Art Mobile Traveling Art exhibition. Where is that? And where are you? Where was your residency? Where are you?
I'm located in Rocky Boy. Like, I live in Havre, but I spend most of my time on Rocky Boy. Like, I'm barely at my apartment. But I don't know, Danny, where's the traveling show located?
Yeah. So we collaborated with Artmobile Montana, and they are based in Helena, I believe. And so they are taking this traveling art exhibition across schools in Montana. And so I'm not really sure where they're going to be at any given moment, but I can paste in their website, and they'll probably have more information on where they'll be. Oh, thank you, Carrie. Yeah, and so it's really cool. So this year, they're really focusing on Indian Ed for All. So it's really an opportunity to bring Indian Ed and Indigenous art together. And it's really cool. We have artists from across the state that submitted pieces. So really cool. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Love to see this in person.
Yeah, so continue. All right, this is Hummingbird, an exploration of color through the essence of Indigenous femininity, the use of yellow and greens for a bright and earth tone expression of the imagination, closed eyes showing a state of prayer and meditation and positivity and self-awareness. Imagine taking a breath of fresh air while picking medicines or berries. Meanwhile, thanking the Creator for all that they have blessed us with. The hummingbird is often considered a spiritual messenger sent from ancestors who have passed on, or represent spirits who live among us or who are visiting us. They help guide us through life and offer us positive, beautiful outlooks. The flicker. So our Indigenous women come in all shapes and sizes. While painting this, I considered the feeling when closing your eyes at a ceremony and starting to humming the songs with people who are singing, and being able to sing along and back those ones up initially. And it could feel empowering or uplifting. Even that amount of focus is a way to help the people, one prayer, one mind, all in the efforts to help heal yourself, family, or community. The flicker is considered a powerful doctor. Their tail feathers are used in ceremonies to clear ailments of the body and mind. They're also considered messengers. So this painting currently, I sold it to my reservation in Nova Scotia, and so they like the depiction of it's not necessarily a self-portrait, but it's like a reflection of when I started to harvest mint here in the mountains, in the Bear Paws, and it's just kind of like how it made me feel to be sitting or walking in the creek picking the mint, because I would have like shorts and my sandals on, like I wouldn't look as precious as this image, but it's how I felt. And so this is a depiction of a young woman picking mint from a mountain dwelling creek, and she's dressed in a ribbon skirt and beaded earrings. She's saying a prayer for thanks for the medicine she's removing from its original home, and the power of her actions is glowing in a halo shape around her head and falls down her hair into the water. This is also illustrating for how Indigenous people, our hair is our strength and connects us to the earth as well, much like our ribbon skirts and the teachings behind them. There are also undertones that show water is life, and through it we can heal ourselves and keep the world nurtured for future generations. Oh, okay. So this is like some earlier work of mine. We're kind of moving out of that one collection, just going into like my general art. And this is my drawing. And so these were really large pieces that I would use charcoal from fires and make my own charcoal sticks, as well as use graphite and ink and gold leafing. And it was part of a collection that I used to depict spirituality and the teachings that my elders I currently worked with back home. So the man with the horse mouth, so that's kind of like a play on Indigenous humor as well. So this was Elder Rick Fable, and he essentially watched me grow up and worked with my family for many, many years, but he had a really, really crazy humor, and he was always laughing and always really cheerful. And so I got permission from him to depict his Indian name in like an abstract way for one of my advanced drawing studio class. And he gave me the permission, and he actually really liked it and found it funny. He's currently passed away, he passed away a few years ago, but I just remember the role that he played along with the Escapios and those that I learned from. They were also the ones who gave me permission to carve stone and make pipes for people. And that just kind of plays into how my contemporary side and all my mediums combine together with how I work, because you do have to attain certain rights to work with a stone called kaolinite. So it's we call it bloodstone because it's a red stone that we use for those pipes. So this is how I have a slideshow, but I don't really have a format into which I'm trying to like teach anybody anything. But so the one on the bottom, her name is Cheryl Littletent. She also passed away a couple years ago, and her spirit name was Eagle Woman. And she had like a really powerful voice. We used to have woman sweats together, and she used to sing. And I just remember how encouraging she was. And she's really one of the main people who encouraged me to continue and learn how to sing in sweat. And so that's why there's the eagle coming out of her face. It's like we transform when we're in a sweat lodge. Like it's like our spirit takes place of who we are. And it's also taught because there's certain people who have these gifts. And so I'm really using that gold line and that gold leaf to represent the gifts of hearing, seeing, and even being your prayer. And also the one in the corner was a Navajo councilman. His name historically was Many Whiskers, and he was depicted like this in a photograph that I drew from, and he's in a state of prayer. But fun fact about this image is that it took me about, I would say 80 hours to draw it. It's pretty large and on watercolor paper. And my father looked at this image, and even though it's a Navajo councilman, which they're south of us, right? My dad said that's a wool Miqmaq blanket, because the images on his chest are actually symbols, Miqmaq symbols. So this kind of ties into, like, I know you guys understand that we have like borders, right? We have like the Canadian border, the Mexican border, and then the states in between, but those actually represent our medicine lines and our trade line systems. So historically, that's how we used to trade and get goods from one another, and we would travel great distances. Plus, there's many other reasons why we traveled. Also, the other depictions, there's the salmon and the bear, and that was actually a tattoo design I did for somebody back in 2013. And I just wanted to represent the bear and the importance of bear and fish. And then there's also like a sweat lodge dish up in Canada that we prepare out of corn and salmon to represent and feed the bear spirit when we're asking for help, as well as down here it's really more practice that they bring berries in, but we do that along with the corn and salmon. These are just kind of some drawings I did for people's tattoos, as well as they're just on like sketch paper, like ledger paper. I usually do that kind of thing when I'm in meetings or something. I like multitasking when I'm learning. Then the next drawing is actually on leather, and it's ink, and it's a buffalo spirit. And I framed it myself. It was like a really crazy framing job, but I got through it. And then we have, as Cree people, we have the horse dance, and I just wanted to depict a ledger art of how I visualized people preparing for the horse dance, and in the intimate relationship that horse people have with their healing horse, you know, like our horses heal us and help us along. Then we have an earlier work of mine featuring a loon and a lot of artwork and geometrics as well. And that's just ink and watercolor. This is a depiction of some Thunderbird spirits that was painted. This was the early work, so it's a really bad picture. I'm sorry. But it is at Sask Polytech in Regina as part of their permanent collection. And then this is some of my rawhide work. I really like the color red and pink, and I usually make things for young girls who want to dance, and so I don't charge them really anything, but unless I'm doing like floral work on a fan or something, I usually just do these to get people ready, or if I'm building inventory to sell artwork, I'll make rawhide jewelry, but it's been a minute since I dabbled in that. And then here's some of my beadwork. I'm not a big beader. I do have, I can bead. It's just I don't like doing two sides to something. So if I was ever to go back into fancy dancing, I would definitely order, because I don't think I can bead through a whole outfit. I don't have the discipline or concentration for it. So a pair of earrings takes a lot for me. This is some of my jewelry that uses stones, like, let's see, we got mother of pearl, we have buffalo turquoise, sleeping beauty turquoise, some purple shells, and there's dentalium. And actually that medallion that you see in this corner picture was my first thing I ever beaded. So I designed it and I thought I did all right, but my grandma has it. And so, well, I think she has it. I'm not sure what happened to it exactly, but that was also like the first like medallion I ever did. Okay. These are just some of my ribbon skirts. And yeah. Let's go to the next one. So these are two of my kids. This is Claire, and her outfit is a traditional dance outfit, and she wanted everything rainbow, obviously, but she is her spirit name is Rainbow Girl. So we reflect everything that we make for them in ceremony based on their spirit names, as well as just the things that they're attracted to. So she really likes butterflies. And then those moccasins in the corner were my son Ordell's. When he first was born, he could fit those, and they have a little arrowhead beaded on them. And then my son is there in his traditional outfit. It's kind of an older picture, but yeah. So one of the areas that I'm known for is feather work. It was something that I learned back in Spirit Lake. A few of us, I learned from some friends over there, and then I did extensive research learning more about it. So some of the traditional practices that we have and items, you really have to just go along the moccasin telegraph and learn that way. And there's protocols that you need to practice in order to learn these things. So for instance, you don't just learn like online. You got to go to somebody's house and tobacco them and ask them how to make these things, because they're going to be used in ceremony, or they're going to be used in a house to smudge somebody's house. And so the only thing I don't usually make, unless I really feel like I want to, is the beaded handles, because peyote stitch kills me. But everything else I love doing. I love doing the thread work. I love doing the leather work. I like aligning the feathers and everything. But these are all kind of earlier works, like some of my first fans that I made. Then you could tell that one in the blue, that handle I beaded, but it was one of my first fans that I made, along with the one on the bottom. Okay, so graphic designing. So this is the Children Are Gifts one, is one of my latest that I haven't released, because it's part of a project I'm working on in Canada that's based on Indigenous birthwork, and I'm working with a tribal council there. And then the Morningstar graphic with the floral was one of my first graphic designs. And so I will talk more about that after. I'm going to see. And this was one of the books I illustrated. And I drew each of the birds individually on my phone while I was getting used to everything. So I tried including all my favorite birds in there. So, oops. This is some of my earlier graphic stuff and drawings, and I got some ledger arts in there. and the powwow poster for the youth powwow. Some posters. And this kind of goes into photography a little bit. I'm super amateur, but I've been doing it kind of casually throughout my life, when I can get a picture in or do a session with somebody. These young ladies are from Rocky Boy. This was part of a project I wanted to do with victim services, just to kind of talk about teen violence and or violence occurring, affecting the lives of teens in Rocky Boy, but the campaign never really had a forefront. So I just have these pictures. Maybe one day I'll do a show with them. These young ladies have grown up in the last couple of years, but they're all related too. So they know each other, and they're well aware of the beauty of the reservation and the families and the ceremony and the healing that it brings. But they also wanted to take a stand against bullying and a stand against teen violence. Oh, also dating violence too. That's the other thing that they wanted to talk about and kind of advocate against, is teens facing kind of like abuse in their relationships and putting it on the forefront. And then that's my daughter Claire, and then my sister Jer. She was sun dancing a few years ago, and she used my shawl, and we got this picture on the Sundance grounds. We don't have the lodge in there because I don't believe in taking pictures of that, but she did want a picture with my shawl. So and then there's just some early exhibition information, and let's see. I have a really big artist CV, and it's kind of too daunting to show anybody, but I'll just hop to my Morningstar Birthworkz page here. So as you guys know, I'm also an advocate, but also a birth worker, and I am recently graduated peer recovery doula and also lactation counselor. So a lot of the stuff that I do, I try and make sure that people can utilize it in their practices. So I also am a muralist. And so this was one of my can you see my page still?
No, we're just seeing your slide.
Can you see what I'm doing? Can you see the Instagram page?
No, just your slide.
Just my slide. Okay, stop sharing. Let's see. Okay, let's switch gears for a second. Present something else.
Jules, if you stop presenting and then X out of your PowerPoint and then share your screen again, it should work.
Okay, can you see that? Okay.
There we go. Great.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see where I can back up to that's appropriate. So here's an example of, I don't know why my mouse is doing crazy things. So this young lady, I made a fan for her. She's gonna start jingle dress dancing. Her name's Michael Lee, and she's a sweetheart. Also, this water bird. Okay, so that image right there is completely made out of feathers, and it's part of building images layer by layer with individual feathers. So you have to cut the feather to make the image. It's kind of like construction paper, but not really, because it's really hard to work with feathers. And then the fan in the middle was made for somebody who was going to use it in ceremony. And so in feather work, the top part, we call it floral work. And then it's just feathers that are layered to create images or artwork that fit the personality of the person. Like usually when we're designing for somebody, they designate colors that they like. And then so underneath that, and it ties it all together, is the thread work. And so in that thread work pattern, you can see that there's kind of like a diamond shape in there, and then the colors all blend together. And tribal people, we love our gradients and we love our shades and color coordination. So it's a great example. And then this is a logo that I did for Chippewa Cree Tribal Early Learning Childhood Center. And it was one of the first things I designed on Rocky Boy. And then going up, there's just kind of like, we currently have a magazine where me and my daughter are on the cover of Lifts magazine. And then I kind of talk about my story of why I'm involved with birth work. And next to that is a logo I made for the education department. And I don't know if it's going to let you pop it up so you could see it bigger. And so in this depiction, there's a floral, and then there's 3 kind of like generations. Like it could be a mom, dad, and a daughter. And it's just talking about growing knowledge. And it goes along with the branding of SCC. Then there's pictures, my birthwork logo that I made, a drawing of a headdress I'm working on. My son we have a waterfall on the reservation that's really a special place for many people. And so one time after ceremony, I brought my kids there. And it was just like there was a rainbow through the water and the kids were just enjoying themselves. So we're always in the bush. Also, so these necklaces, my husband started making necklaces, and then we kind of have our own style. So there's these necklaces too. And I don't know if it's going to play noise. I'm not sure. Or I don't know. But yeah, so there's bone, Austrian crystals, obsidian, and glass. And so I don't know if this is going to play, but you can kind of see it. See if it'll do the thing. I don't think so. That's okay. Let's just keep going. Does anyone have any questions? I could really, if there's a medium or something that you want to ask about, I could do my best to kind of answer your questions about it.
This is Kay. I've got another question, actually. I love the colors that you use in your acrylics and other things. And it's different from what I've seen in a lot of other paintings where it's using more natural colors. And these look so vibrant and almost neon. And I wondered how you went about, choosing the colors that you use, particularly in the early acrylics that you were showing us where you had the beading and other things.
Yeah. So for me, historically, the neon colors are usually tied to energy from, I don't want to sound like I'm making stuff up, but the neon colors are often tied to thunder beings. And so I don't know what's going on. And so often I try to tie them in, but I don't usually use them regularly. And so I don't have any favorite colors per se that I like using. It's just really what I would like to say that I plan a lot of stuff, but I don't. I'm very much like a draft drawing person, and then I just hop in. So usually when I do a mural, I don't even have my colors laid out. Like I usually just do a black and white, and then I hop in with whatever I feel looks good. I don't know this.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jules, we have Amy has her hand raised, and then Carrie popped a question in the chat. Do we want to start with Amy?
Yeah, let's do Amy. My screen is frozen, so I'm gonna try and log out of this Instagram. How's it going, Amy?
Hi, everybody. Good Tansei, everybody. I have a question for Julianne about my daughter loves to paint, and she has started to paint on drums. Do you have a recommendation on what kind of paint to use on handmade drums?
I would say acrylic. And then when you're painting with acrylics, it needs to be a high quality acrylic. And so
Do you have like a go-to brand?
Amy, I think she hopped off really quick. I think she left the meeting on accident. Let's see if she hops back on.
so weird.
There
Hello.
she is.
Hey, Jules.
Hi, I just got kicked off. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so for the drums, I would say acrylic, a high quality acrylic, and then let it completely dry, and then make sure you clear coat what you painted.
Clear coat. Okay.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of drums last a long time that way, but sometimes when drums are painted too, they're not used as often. Like they're usually, I'm not sure what she's going to use them for, but yeah, the clear coat is a key, and it won't really affect your sound coming from your drum. It'll just protect the image that's on it.
Thank you. She's painted them already, but we have not done the clear coat. So thank you, Julianne.
Yeah, and you could do it. I would say do the clear coat just on the painted part, not the whole drum. That way, like, because sometimes people will heat up their drum over a fire or hot rocks or something, and you don't want that smell to like permeate.
Okay, so we have another question in the chat. Carrie's asking, can you talk more about how birth work and doula work feels like creative art making?
So that's a loaded question. I think we could, that's a question that me and my sisters could probably go on and on about. But in birth work, it's for us, being a birth worker is a traditional role that we practice in our communities, and it's something that is coming more to light, especially here in Montana. And so the more the merrier. And for a lot of us, making things for the families that we work with is encouraging to them, and it builds that familial bond that you're fostering when these families are bringing life into the world. And essentially the way we view it is you're a relative to them, and gifts are a really huge way that we honor one another. And it's just customary even when somebody comes to your house, like you offer them bare minimum water and bread or tea and bannock. And that's just a practice. And also if somebody's coming to your house for the first time, you give them something that you either made or you don't need, and you want to give them something. That's one of our customs that we have. And as a birth worker, most of my digital art has been based on healthcare practices in regards to maternal mental health. And I'm also on a board, a community advisory board for that. And everything that we do, we incorporate Indigenous artwork. And it's often like flowers or a mother holding baby in a moss bag, and depicting very relevant and contemporary depictions of our mothers today with the support of our traditions. So everything that we do artistically is an extension of ourselves and the work and the intention that we put forth in taking care of one another. Was that eloquent, or was I just going on a tangent?
Thank you, Jules. We have another question in the chat. Kayleen is asking, are there any mediums you'd like to try that you haven't already used in past artwork?
Yes, I want to use wax. I want to do, I can't even remember what it's called. Maybe Danny knows. What is it called? When you draw and then you do layers of wax. And then I can't remember. Encaustic?
Encaustic.
Yeah. And so I want to do that. I have a piece behind me that my niece did here. I don't know if you guys can really see it. So it's that one. And that was made by my niece Gigi, and it's encasted. And it's so pretty. It's a ledger art and I love it. And you have to do so she had to do one color at a time on top of her drawing. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Carrie. Yeah. And so I've never done it, but it looks like it's a next level of patience. And so maybe once my kids are grown up. But also, traditionally speaking too, I want to learn from Merle Big Bow how to make bow and arrows. I have an idea, but that was one traditional art form I've never even tried to do. And I know that there's certain rules and things to do to go about it. And I really want to do an inlaid bow, if that makes sense. Maybe that sounds too crazy, but that's where my mind goes. I don't know.
Just gonna say Merle Big Bow's a badass. You should do
Oh,
that.
he is. I know. he wants us to do feather work for him. So I'm trying to do I'm trying to get it going, but you have to kind of age the wood that you use for the bow. You need to make sure that the choke cherry wood is dried out, and then you gotta re-steam it and all that. And already I'm lost, right? So the other thing I wanted to point out was that Kayleen Big Knife is one of my biggest inspirations and motivations to continue graphic designing. I totally geeked out on her thesis, her master's thesis, and everything she's done for Rocky Boy and her family and the community, and utilizing the artists, using the knowledge systems and the plants and everything. I am all about that as a birth worker. And it's really her work that kept me going, along with my girl, Rachel Two Teeth, who's based out of Helena. Like, I have a really good relation with these people, and they really inspire me. So totally fangirling that Kayleen's here. So, and she knows it.
It's a good segue because Kayleen is actually going to be our next presenter.
Yay!
On June 14th. So y'all be sure to register and you can hear more about Kayleen's artwork, which, yeah, like Julianne, like it's amazing. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm so happy and proud to be from Rocky Boy because we just, you know, just this all the talent we have here, have there. It's really exciting to see it all. And yeah, I'm gonna pass it over to Lizzie, and she's gonna just share some other cool opportunities that Open Air has coming up. And yes, maybe y'all gonna be maybe y'all are inspired and might, you know, take advantage of some of the opportunities we have.
Also, I think we have a question.
Oh,
Yeah, we have. Thank you, Danny. Yeah, we've got one more question, and then we'll wrap it up. Maybe.
Rosella,
not.
I think that's you.
You're muted. No,
Nope.
she's okay.
Alrighty. Okay. Jules, thank you so much. This was really, really, really amazing. And thank you for taking the time to share. And thank you for everyone who's here with us over the noon hour. It's really awesome to meet with folks midweek. How great. Like Danny mentioned, also, am I echoing too?
No.
No,
you sound good.
Okay.
Yes, it's an echo.
Weird. Okay, how about now? This is the way it goes, right? Okay, so like Danny mentioned, Kayleen Big Knife will be our next presenter in January. January 14, same time. I'll pop the registration link in the chat if you have not registered yet. We would love to have you. Kayleen, we're really looking forward to having you. I also wanted to mention our call for artists is live. We are actively accepting applications for our artist residency program. And we welcome any artist, any medium to apply. I'm popping. Oh, Carrie's on it. Carrie's popping it in the chat. Our deadline for applications is December 17th. So we're, about a month out from our deadline. I wanted to highlight specifically, we have a new partnership this year with the CSKT Bison Range. And this is an extension of our Indigenous Initiatives program. We're really, really excited to work with them. And all CSKT members, Montana Indigenous, all are welcome to apply and encouraged to. If you have any questions about any of the residency sites or just the application in general, you're welcome to reach out to me specifically. I'll put my email here in the chat. It's just program@openairmt.org. I also wanted to mention, so earlier, Danny had expressed how this is their last Indigenous Initiatives artist presentation because they're moving on, and I just wanted to extend my gratitude to you, Danny, for really extending. We have a whole slew of artist presentations coming up in the future, and when you register for Kayleen's next month, you'll see all of the artists that we'll be able to hear from and learn from in the upcoming months. So Danny, thank you for lining that up for us. This exhibition will be traveling all around Montana for the next year, featuring Indigenous artists, and it's really just the coolest. So that's what I have to say. Jules, would you like to say anything else before we close?
I just want to say Kittatami and thank you, all of you, for taking the time out of your schedules to listen to me. So have a good day, everybody.